Howdy, howdy, guys. Welcome to another Too Late Tonight with Tiki, Paint and Chat. I'm actually going to be catching up on my kitbashed Red Corsairs. Worked on a little bit today, so I'm getting close to finishing. I've been giving a lot of thought into how I'm actually going to do the basing. And that's what I'm kind of curious about, is I have some stuff laid out. I think these guys are going to be more kitted out like they're in the engine room of a ship, so you're going to see a lot of gears and like barrels and stuff like that. So I think that's what I'm thinking. As you can tell, we've been kind of fine-tuning some of the details on these guys. You know, adding little bits of silver from the metal, from the magazines, coloring the ammo, you know, the blades, the knives, all the equipment, stuff like that. So I'm naming this the Sawtooth Squadron, and they fly under the Red Corsair warband. So with that, I'm making their mouths and their grills like that, and their beaks. I'm making those silver, and it kind of goes with their whole chainsaw bit. So as you can tell, it's a lot of just small detail work in these guys. Because their main color is black, I'm trying to do as much detail work in these guys as far as my limited ability lets me, because I'm not that talented. But it kind of makes that black pop a little bit extra, you know? So that's why I'm trying to make sure, you know, all the metallic parts of the bolters are painted, all the grenades, pouches, all that stuff. And on the plus side, if I get through the detail work in these guys, really all I have left is basing for the competition to have them, like, you know, a finished Val. If that happens, I'm actually going to start building the Trader Guardsman for this force. So that'll be kind of exciting. So I do like Warhammer 40k. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited to get back to painting some bolt action, because I have a wickedly long Conflict 47 list of polishing that I'm going to work on. So I'm trying to get to these guys. It's fun, you know, but it's nowhere near burnout. But it's definitely on the table to do some bolt action Conflict 47 models here soon. So like I said, what I really do is I try and pick the color of the army. I make sure it's available in a spray primer can from Citadel, and that kind of paint the whole model. That makes like 70% of your job done. And then as you go in and fill in the details, like I said, once you kind of get those three colors, those three separate colors other than the base color, that's when you'll start to see the models look like they're kind of popping or that they're almost done. Hey Nathan, what's going on? Yeah, still paint the same models. Almost done with them. Just finishing in some minor details. Then all I gotta do is base them, and these guys will be done. For the basing, I wanted to be all cool and do like EVA space kind of stuff, but there's no way I could conceivably think about doing it without looking like I was just half-assing the base, with black and white paint. So I thought about it. These are gonna be like the shock troops of my space pirate army. So I figured one of the most important things to hit besides the bridge would be the engine room. So I think for the base for these guys, I'm going to go with an industrial engine room look and feel. Like I got some cogs and some barrels that I'm going to put on there, kind of make it rusted looking. Yeah, I was trying to think of a conceivable way to do that. So it's like, oh, just do galaxy style airbrushing. I was like, yeah, that's not me. I was like, I can't do that. So I was just gonna like flick some white paint, but I was like, that just looks half-assed. I was gonna put like little asteroids on toothpicks. So I was like, that's not working either. Trying to paint small details that make sense to me. Like for these guys, making their iron sights on their bolters more metallic, so they pick up more residual light in space, and also their charging handles. I'm trying to paint like scratches because these guys have been fighting so long. They're sitting there, they'll reach up, grab a charging handle, rip it to the rear. So I'm trying to make a little bit of damage there. Trying to make them look more like quiet professionals rather than like the normal chaos guys you see with like horns and trophies everywhere. Or the ostentatious space marines. These guys are just about their job. Hey, how's it going, Baron? I know I'm still painting the same models, I promise. Probably the last day you guys will see them until I finish them, because I have some basing stuff coming in. All I'm doing is just detail work, and then I got a base. If I finish all my detail work, I'm excited. I'm going to start building my Trader Guardsman for this army, so that'll be kind of exciting. And I'll be using Wargame Atlantic's cannon fodder, and I'll be guys in EVA suits. Yeah, as you guys can tell, I try and keep it pretty simple. I stick to really just like 3 colors other than the main color, just enough to kind of make the model pop. My thing though is I just try and color in the details. You know, I'd hate to have like all things one color. You know, I like to at least make war gear, you know, like grenades or weapons really kind of stand out. I did take the chat's advice, and with the plasma weapon, even though they're chaos, you know they're pirates, and so I figured they'd steal more shit than they get issued, and so I kind of went with them having loyalist color plasma, so that's why I see the plasma pistol and the plasma rifle. It's blue. Hey, Mortal, what's going on, buddy? Dude, I'm not gonna lie. So I had to work today. Some people don't know I have a job where I'm lucky enough to work from home. I work for the government. Um, but the highlight of my day, I'm not gonna lie, is watching Mortal take on the same scene in Halo 2. It was absolutely hysterical. Uh, he was going in with a warthog. Granted, he was on the highest difficulty, but he had a marine as a gunner and a marine riding shotgun, and it was either the Jackal snipers, the race, or the Phantom that came in. It just kept knocking him out over and over, but he beat it. That's the most important thing is he beat it. I was super happy. I celebrated with him. It was awesome to see. Yeah, I wanted to give you more advice, but I had to work. But I was like, serpentine, serpentine, just drive figure eight. But that was just a rough. I think it's probably the hardest spot in Halo 2, if I remember correctly. I mean, that was rough. I'm glad you beat it. So since I do have a few of you in the chat, go ahead and drop. What color do you think the eye should be? Um, Green, maybe red. I could do red. I think red might be the best option. We could do, like I said, we could do cool stuff. Like I said, I'm not a real traditionalist. We could do purple. We could do whatever. Yeah, Mortal. So just a quick heads up with these guys. Yeah, so they're Renegade Space Marines. So they just recently swapped from Loyalist over to the Red Corsairs because they don't want to pay any more taxes and they're sick of the way the Empire's running things. So yeah, these are 100% Chaos Space Marines, but you know, less Chaos Gods, more looting and pirating and pillaging. So they specialize in void combat and ship-to-ship combat. So that's kind of why they have like their gear all over them. They're kitted out for space combat. And if we're lucky, because I'm waiting on some material to come in for the basing, so I finish up my detail work. I'm going to start building their cannon fodder, their trainer guards that'll accompany them. Yeah, blue pops. Blue's a good one. But that's a good point, Mortal. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, what would be cool in space? So I'm thinking like purple. Maybe purple. I'm thinking yeah, blue or purple. I think it's definitely what it's gonna be. Because I'm trying to think like what would be cool, but purple makes me think almost like Predator, like full spectrum thermal. Because super nerdy thing. I actually was in the Space Force for a little while. I was in the Air Force for most of my career, but I transferred to the Space Force at the very end of it. And ironically, one of the things we learned in theoretical space combat, one of the most important factors is actually temperature. So when you start using sensors and things like that, it's all about heat signatures and heat transference. So thinking about that, I'd want like a full spectrum vision. I'm thinking purple actually. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. The Mace Windu point. Yeah, you know, mix of blue and red, kind of middle ground. Oh yeah, no, that's legit. Okay, yeah, you won me over, Mortal. I think it's definitely gonna be purple. What do you think, Nathan? Yeah, I think more or less what I was talking about. Like I said, I was hoping, like, I think one of the coolest parts of that tabletop for Halo that would be neat to see would be a legit battle for New Mombasa. You know, maybe even a smaller scale, like 15 millimeters. So you have like it's almost like Halo Tactics, I guess, like that game where you have like squads of Marine or like little fire teams of Marines you move around and like maybe two Spartans and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool to kind of see. Almost like Flames of War, but Halo style. You know, same rules, same combat size. Yeah, Baron, I'm not gonna lie. I like blue too, and blue does pop. I'll probably test one as blue, test one as purple, and kind of see what I think. Oh, you know what? I think I got it. I think I'm gonna paint them all purple, but I think I'll do the sergeant, or I guess the aspiring champion blue. That'd be kind of cool. Hey, what's going on, Matthew? Working on the same models. They're almost done. I know it's kind of weird seeing the same models like 3 days in a row. But they're almost done. Just doing some detail work, and I'm waiting on some basic material to come in. And then these guys will be done. If I finish the detailing before 2, I'll probably start building their trainer guardsmen. Oh, if it isn't my good buddy who once killed me with a shovel. Hey, what's going on? It is the editor. I like the new name, man. I like the whole High Fleet Thanatos thing. That's pretty cool. Oh, hey, thanks, Matthew. It means a lot because I'm not trying to do like those weird things where I'm fishing for compliments. I'm not a good painter. I just paint for the tabletop, and I always go for like the 3-foot rule, you know. So I appreciate you saying they look good. I'm just trying to do enough detail colors where they'll pop a little bit. Yeah, so I went ahead and did it may be counterintuitive, but for what looked like the crack grenades, I went with OD green. For the frag grenades, I'm making red. They're little canisters. I'm doing just standard gray, but I'm kind of beat them up, and some of them look like flashbangs, so I'll give them metal spoons, a little silver, and all the pouches, like the mag holding pouches and the knife holding pouches, I left black. So I'm hoping that should work. Yeah, editing is rough. That's one thing I'm finding out about these live. So the first one was rough. Thanks to everyone who attended the very first one. I did not know what I was doing. I even forgot. I turned it off in OBS, but apparently I left it going in YouTube. It was wild shenanigans, right? But I'm learning a lot about streaming. But the cool thing with streaming is once it's done, it's done. You're like, I don't have to edit it. That is awesome. That's a game changer. So yeah, my general rule of thumb is for frag I go red, crack I go green, for melta tanks I go yellow, for flamer tanks I go red, um, and I think missiles I generally do white with like silver fins. Does anyone in the chat actually play Kill Team? Because I'm pretty excited. That's what I built these guys as. They're my 10-man Legionnaire team for Kill Team. Like a great example, like one is the Icon Bear, and what his is you can kind of see it right here. He haven't painted it yet, but he has a skull and crossbones, like a legit skull and crossbones. You know, that's his icon. So I'm excited to play, but I've never played Kill Team. I'm pretty excited. Anyone have any critique or tips about it? I do, like I said, obviously, I play bolt action like that. I love tabletop games, but I love good, crunchy tactical combat. So I think that's. I kind of wanted to do Necromunda, but I'm like, I don't know. You know, I was like, but Kill Team seems kind of popular. It has a low barrier to entry. You know, I was able to. I literally. This is just a 10-man tactical Space Marine box that I bought. You know, it's some bits. So it's not too expensive to get into. So I'm kind of excited to see how it works. And I think it'll be the easiest to put into Battlefleet Gothic games, you know? Alright, so I've been trying to figure out what this tool is, if you guys can see it on his belt like that. It could be like a kind of scope, some kind of range thing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it like a, if you've ever flown in like a military aircraft or like a commercial aircraft that you only have like rescue tools, they're usually like big axes, or it's almost like a industrial strength pry bar or crowbar, so I think that's what I'm going to go with. So I think I'm going to paint it international orange and put like some silver damage on it, you know, because that's what he's using to pry open these hatches to go in and kill people. Yeah, that's the old military like veteran, the nerd in me. I try to kit these guys out, and what I always thought would like make sense. That's why I put like all the spare mag pouches and grenade pouches where they can reach. Because something always bugged me about Space Marines. I mean, they look cool. Don't get me wrong, but they walk in and you can see like one mag. I was like, where the hell is your mag pouch or resupply? So I'm always trying to like have these guys like kitted out to the nines. Speaking of Halo, that's what I used as inspiration was Emil from Halo Reach. That's the kind of style I was going for these guys. Yeah, I feel like it's like the Emperor's Adeptus bag of Holdicus, infinite bag of holding on all Space Marines. That's what it feels like. Hey, what's going on, Evolution? Welcome to Too Late Tonight with Tiki. I try to do a stream when I know like nobody else is. That way, in case you're up either late or early, there's always something to kind of watch. And I run these on Saturdays and Sundays. So welcome to it, man. Glad to see you in the chat. Yeah, some of these models like this dude who's actively reloading another drum bag. If you look at his chest, he just has a chest bandolier like full of pouches and gear and a backup knife and all sorts of stuff. Oh, Matthew, I perfectly agree. Especially in zero gravity. That's why I was like, zero gravity and belt-fed weapons. That's an epic no-go. It's got to be drum-fed. So I'm one of these guys where if I was actively breaching spaceships and voidcraft as my job, what would I want? I'm like, I want a drum mag, and I want a chain bayonet. That way, as soon as I go through that door, I can hold down a hatch. I can put down suppressing fire. If I run out of ammo and someone tries to breach through that fatal funnel hatch, I can just give them the old chain bayonet, and then press on to the next person. So, same thing with all the gear on it, too. I was like, when you breach that ship, you have no chance of resupply, so you gotta carry all your extra gear with you. Yeah, no, I totally agree with it. I think that's probably one of my favorite, I guess, more traditional chapters. Like I said, just recently I found out about the Red Corsair. As soon as I did, being a huge piracy fan, in history and stuff like that, I was like, oh yeah, that's the totally my guys. But no, Iron Warriors are legit. I love the paint job. I can't do hazard stripes like that, but man, do I appreciate them. So that's the other thing I get. Up until I found out chain bayonets were a thing, I always thought chain axes were 100% cooler and more useful than a chain sword. And I think there's only like one loyalist chapter that has chain axes. Is that the Flesh Tearers, I want to say? I feel like more people would use chain axes. They just seem a hell of a lot more useful than a chain sword. I mean, you strip the paint bare and you got half the paint scheme right there. Iron within, iron without. I think that's the saying for Iron Warriors, I think. Yeah, that's a good point, Mortal. I see that. I get that. It makes sense why commissars would use it, because they go to the school of Scholar Praegemia, they get trained. It makes sense why officers would carry them. They're trained duelists, they're officers and gentlemen, they're officers and ladies, as it were. But, like, the bog standard sergeant, that's one thing that cracked me up. Uh, I was an NCO, so I remember, like, kitting out my guardsmen, and I was like, why did I have to give up my rifle to get a pistol and a chainsword? I was like, a real NCO who's like fought his way up from the ranks is not giving up his rifle. So luckily in 7th, I ran all veteran squads, and the NCOs had the ability to take a bolter. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. As an NCO, you would trade in your last gun for like a bolt gun. That makes a lot more sense than a pistol and a flashlight pistol and a sword. I know the Arbides have those power mall, not power. They have the power maces and power malls. I definitely see those a lot, which I thought would make more sense than Commissar. You know, I was like, just walk around with a power mace. I think shock mace is what I was looking for. More shock mace than power mace, I guess. Oh yeah, imagine how more comfortable that would feel connecting with like Necrons. You know, just like kind of running in there with a metal bonk stick. You know, kind of catching them right in the, adamantium ribs. Well, Mortal. That's why I went with the chain bayonets. Like I said, obviously it won't have any kind of special effect, on the tabletop. But I figure that's a lot more intimidating, especially when you're fighting like hatch to hatch in a void ship or spaceship. No one's gonna come charging through there or running up to hit you when you have a chain bayonet. Yeah, like cultists of corn has entered the chat. I have two chain bayonets. Tally ho. Hey, thanks for dropping by, Immortal. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, take it easy, and I look forward to your next gaming stream, man. Going all the way through Halo. That can't be easy, brother. Take it easy. So usually, I think I mentioned I paint my rockets usually white, which makes sense. You know, if you're on a planet and you're launching them, you know, especially surface to area, you kind of want them to blend in, you know, with the sky. But I think because these guys are fighting in space, they're going to leave the actual rockets black. They'll have that red band to let you know they're explosive, you know, and then I'll keep the fins silver. So I think that's why I went with the rocket launcher. I think rocket launchers wouldn't be that affected. You know, object in motion stays in motion. So I think as long as and it's a self-contained charge. So once that goes off, it would consume any oxygen that was in the charge. That would allow it to ignite. And I think it would just continue moving until it hits something. For evolution, these guys maybe hard to see, but they're red corsairs. So they're my own homebrew unit. They're called the Sawtooth Squadron because they have, you know, steel mouthpieces and they carry chain bayonets. But they're recently converted from Loyalist over to Renegade, and they fight for the Red Corsairs because they ain't paying any taxes. Oh yeah, purple is a good call. I'm liking the way purple. Yeah, definitely purple. Yeah, I think what really drew me into the Red Corsairs is I like the idea of renegade space marines. Not always chaos. Like, you can pray to a chaos god if you really think it's gonna help, but careful. It's like a classic genie story. You may get the boon you want, or you may get an extra tentacle. Who knows? I was like, or you could just be a renegade space marine. You don't always have to have horns growing out of your head. I mean, right? I agree. Like, the more I read the story, I was like, hold on, hold on, hold on. So you guys gave everything in the world to Cadia to hold back their Eye of Terror, and now Cadia is nothing more than a navigational hazard. But he held on against he held on against that Maelstrom, and like, hey, where's our taxes? He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm using the taxes to keep chaos at bay. Not only keep them at bay, he was making incursions into the Maelstrom and kicking ass. He was like, let me use the money to make a better defense. Why can I only have 1,000 Space Marines? Let me just go ahead and make more. Not to get all Warhammer 40k conspiracy theory, but the more and more I read, it sounds like the more he helped out. I think who was it, the Tiger Claws or somebody? He helped out some chapter that was on the Inquisition's shit list. They went missing, they came back, and they're scared their gene was affected. And they kept deleting all their information, and then the Astral Claws helped them out, and I think that put them on the Inquisition shit list. Maybe he can rule better, or maybe the Emperor has four arms and his true children are coming. I think probably one of my favorite Loyalist chapters is the Pteranodons. They're like, hey, come back and help protect the planet. It's like, nah, man, we're doing space shit. Like, we're going out doing wild stuff. It's like, why do you guys look all mutated? Like, shut up, doesn't matter. They're like, okay, never mind. Like, I would fully love this giant, like, not really chaos beast, but like this giant lost, like, void whale slash two-headed shark to just, like, come out of the warp one day. And the Cardons be like, yep, that's it. That's our Primarch we chose. Like, we're going to follow the giant, you know, two-headed space shark. You know, like the size of, like, a Mars battlecruiser, you know? Or Emperor-class battlecruiser. Yeah, Evolution, I can see two guardsmen like, oh, look, they painted, like, shark teeth on their helmets. Oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe it's for, like, motivation or to scare the enemy. He sees him take off his helmet. He's like, oh, holy shit, he actually has shark teeth. You know what? Let's get the next foxhole. Like, you know what? Yeah, let's move on down a couple. Oh, Matthew, could you imagine, man? That'd be awesome. Oh my god. The Pteranodons and like a massive orc fleet together with a giant space shark. I don't think the Tyranids, like all their like massive hive mind, they wouldn't even see that coming. Like, what the hell is that? Like, did anyone plan for this? Did anyone have this on their like, you know, international biomass harvesting bingo card? Like, what the hell is that? Nathan, like, what happened to the Inquisitor? He got inquisitive. Any questions? Nope, nope, that's good enough for me. Case closed, moving on. Yeah, I try to aim for this because I've most of my life I worked mids and graveyard shifts. So I wanted it like a late paint and chat kind of thing, but also wanted I timed it right to where for the people over in Europa, it should be like kind of like early morning, so maybe something to drive to or something kind of like early. So I'm trying to catch like both sides, but I also want to do it outside of where anyone else does it. That way I'm not taking time away from anyone else's stream. So funny you say that, Nathan. On my next list of armies that I want to build that I haven't got around to yet, I've actually thought about making a Tiki Necron army. Give them like Tiki mask and give them like frayed Rafa skirts, Yeah, this purple eye paint is surprisingly. I thought it would look kind of silly like Easter, but it's very surprisingly aggressive. I like it. Yeah, as far as like Tiki themed Necrons, imagine you find this like beautiful world. It's not a death world, but it's basically like Hawaii, the planet. Everything's gorgeous and amazing. All the locals are like, hey, just don't mess with like the Tiki statues. And finally, some dumb guardsman, pisses on one or piss one's off, and out of nowhere, you just see Necrons just start like crawling out of these perfectly beautiful jungles, and they're just pissed off Necrons and like hula skirts and shit. It's gonna be great. But yeah, black Space Marine armor or purple eyes is actually really, really cool. I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah, people say it's like, this is such a beautiful planet. Why does no one live here? Then you find out why. Like, oh, it's a tomb world. You think tomb world, you think like, you know, a barren, desolate place. But imagine like perfect paradise. You know, like this is what a great place. Why does no one live here? Like, found out why. You know, place is haunted. Get back in the ship. What do you mean? Place is haunted. See, I'm telling you, man, this shit writes itself. I really think a fun Tiki themed Necron army. Yeah, it's in the works. I don't think a kill team army is too big. I think it's just gonna be a couple warriors and maybe some immortals. So yeah, that's definitely going on the list. We'll have a Tiki themed Necron army for kill team. Now for the part I've been waiting for. You can't really have a space pirate army without a skull and crossbones. So for a kill team, this is actually the I think they're called the Icon Bear. So instead of having some like giant chaos trophy that you have on top of your backpack, like, hey, shoot me, I'm important. You know, he has like a nice skull and crossbones on his shoulder. Oh my god, stop. It can only get so cool. Matthew, that is a hilarious idea. It's like, oh, you know, what are the relics I'm looking for? Like, what is this rum stuff? Oh, this is so cool. Yeah. Damn it, now I gotta order Necrons. You guys are killing me. Please, pile of shame, get bigger. When you say ghost barge, I think you mean floating tiki bar. Yeah, to everyone else, you seem like fearful Necrons, but like to Necron society, these were like the drunken rejects. It's like, didn't we have like a hospitality branch of our bureaucratic government? Be like, oh yeah, they're back on that one planet. Like no one's heard from them in a while. Oh yeah, that skull and crossbones is looking. That's looking proper piratey. Oh yeah, yeah. The skull and crossbones and the red corsair on the other side. Yeah, definitely coming across nice. So for me, for paints, I've been doing this for a little while. You think my skill would be better, but it's not. But I've kind of developed a brand loyalty for Citadel paints. I don't really buy a lot of GW models, as I clearly hold one in my hand. Every now and then I'll buy GW models, especially some of their older ones. But I've always used Citadel paints. I don't think they're the best. They're just the ones I'm most comfortable with, and I've painted so many different armies. I take a picture with the model and with the paints that I use, so in case I ever need to touch it up or add more to it, I know the exact paints to use. And so I think that's why I just stuck with Citadel over the years, just because it's part of all my paint formulas, if that makes sense. But I do like contrast paints. Those are game changers. So this is the skull I was actually really looking forward to painting. Right on the end of his rocket launcher and missile launcher. You know, nice little skull. All right, hey, thanks for joining, Baron. I appreciate you showing up and chatting. Have a good one. I'm actually pretty close to these guys. I think all I really have left is some minor details and basing. So when this stream ends, I think it'll be the last you'll see of these Legionnaires until they're completed. Once they're completed, I'll put out a picture on my YouTube channel. Oh yeah, I'd love to see some DAK, man. Definitely, I'm excited to see your Africa Core. Or did you go with field caps, or did you go with the German tropical pith helmets? That sounds awesome, man. I can't wait to see them. Yeah, now it's just touch-up details. I'm gonna put a little Nolan oil on the chainsaw so they look, nice and oiled and greasy. Maybe little specks of red on them. And then just going around to each model and just catching up all those little details I've missed, and catch up where I've been a little overzealous and painted a little too far. Fill it back into black. So yeah, for the base for these guys, so for their trader guard, there's going to be straight up like meshed walking platform inside of a ship. But for these guys, they're going to be an engine room. So I have all these like little cogs and gears and kind of like chop up and put all around. So they're like near machinery, and they're going to have like oil barrels and stuff. Bolt action, I'm not sure, but you could get away with purple and Conflict 47, especially you could do like a German Thule Society or like Hydra, so it could be like the ones who are trying to find all like the Spear of Destiny and all that kind of stuff. That'd be kind of neat. It'd definitely go well with their Africa Corps guys. They could be like their foot soldiers. That was one thing I do gotta paint. I gotta paint that guy's scanner. Let me do that real quick. Anybody else have the terrible habit of putting their coffee cup right next to their paint cup? And has anyone accidentally dipped their paintbrushes straight to their coffee cup? I'm curious if it's just me. By the way, paint tastes like shit. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing about version 3. But just like with Old World, I'm kind of holding out until the rules actually come out. Um, I think that'll be cool, but I think it's definitely, especially with bolt action, it's going to be like straight up be like, not in this tournament. You know, we're going to stick with the traditional rifle thing, you know, this, and that. So we'll see. Can't thank you guys enough for showing up and helping out with this chat. The eye color that you guys picked was dead on. not yet. I do always end up super gluing my fingers. That happens to me a lot. And I also don't 3D print, so I don't really have a problem with those vapors, you know. Though I hear drinking the resin is supposedly good for you. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. It sounds like one of those weird, you know, cold to the machine kind of propaganda things. For legal reasons, that is a joke. Please don't drink the resin. Oh dear lord. Oh, what kind of ramen do you have? Resin? No, no, ramen. No, no, no. It's resin ramen. It's this new type. It's all the rage. Oh yeah, for sure. I think in the future I'll definitely show you guys like what I'm drinking for each stream. Sometimes it's coffee. Sometimes you know there's probably rum in the coffee, or it's like a rum tiki drink. I like being thematic. Oh, I get that. Yeah, no, I ended up being a rum guy after a long deployment. You know, I came back dry because I had to. So I was like, if I'm gonna pick up drinking, I might as well learn something. So I started to learn all about rum, and luckily I live in an area where I have access to a lot of local rum, and the Caribbean's not that far, so every island has its own different rum style. So it's pretty cool. It's a fun little hobby to pick up. Oh yeah, Sailor Jerry's is definitely where it got started. Sailor Jerry's is always one of my favorites. Strong, good price, you can't really beat it. Probably the best and most approachable rum, like quality for price, is I would definitely recommend Captain Morgan Private Stock if you can find it, and keep it in the freezer. And when you want a glass, just pour 2 fingers in a glass, add 2 ice cubes, you know, let it sit for about 2 minutes, and it's absolutely perfect. Nice. Glad to hear you got some hobbying in. You got that built. That's awesome. Phenomenal to hear, man. Yeah, that's my same problem. Evolution E. I got I got plenty built. Big pile of shame. I just gotta start working on. But luckily, this stream's been helping. You guys been helping me out more than you know. I got a lot of work in a couple days done on these Chaos Space Marines, so it's been awesome. Yeah, you guys have really spoiled me in the chat section. It's super cool to actually see the chat on the screen now. And it's crazy full for a guy with like so few followers. It's unbelievably cool and largely motivating. I'm super excited. We're coming to the tail end of this stream, and I'm excited because next week we'll start right back up again. You guys will have me too late, on Saturday and Sunday, so 2 to 4 Eastern time on Saturday and Sunday. I'll be here live streaming. Feel free to drop in, drop out, chat. It's super cool to see you guys and hear from you guys. If you keep an eye on the channel, I'll post some of the pictures when these guys are done. I'll post the pictures of some of my other models that are done. But other than that, guys, it's been awesome. I've had a lot of blast. Watch the channel. I think Wednesday I'll put out another Conflict 47 video. And if you guys have any requests, I'm going to put preference towards the chat. If there's any particular videos you guys want to see first about Conflict 47, let me know. Or if there's any particular models you want to see me build or paint, let me know in the chat. All right, well, guys, it's been great. If you guys are headed to bed, I hope you get some good rest. If you guys are headed to work, don't forget to relax because you certainly deserve it. And as always, guys, stay safe and stay hydrated. I'll see you guys on Saturday, just a little too late with me, Tiki.